New, very interesting rumors of a new Batsuit are coming up again, but this time there's a lot more tangible juiciness to this, especially when you link it to the new trailer, and a whole bunch of other details and updated theories that I am very, very solid on, even from my trailer breakdown. Trust me, Bat fans, you're gonna want to watch this one. So how's it going, Bat family? Welcome to a brand new The Batman 2021 video. Now, this video is going to be chock full of information. So I'm talking about the second Batsuit. There's a lot of tangible stuff to go over that. And trust me, I never really cover rumors, but this one does seem to have a lot of legitimacy to it. And it links in with a very specific moment of the trailer. And also, I just have some updated thoughts over my initial breakdown. The riddle's been solved. I want to get into that. I'm going to detail some extra Easter eggs relating to the Court of Owls you may have seen in other videos, but I want to get into some theories and some deep dives into how I do believe that connects with Bruce Wayne and the future movies of the Batman trilogy and a whole bunch more. So without dragging this out, guys, we've got quite a bit to go over. So trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this video. I will leave some timestamps in the video description, but as I said, we're going to start off with the second Batsuit, and I really don't think you're going to want to skip that one. So there was a Reddit post back in February, and I already know there's going to be some comments if I didn't say this. Reddit post, DCU leaks, I mean, really, Boba, are we going to go over that? Trust me, I never really pay attention to these. However, there was some important information that they revealed back then, which literally pertains to the trailer. So I'm going to get into the details of that very quickly, and then I'm going to say how it does link into the trailer, and how I actually do have quite a bit of faith in this. Plus, I think it's kind of obvious anyway. We knew the Batsuit was going to evolve throughout the movies, and I wasn't mega sure if that was going to happen in the first film, but hey, it's not overwhelmingly surprising either. So let's TLDR this. I'm going to kind of abbreviate quite a bit of it. So the important thing for me initially in this Reddit post is that they said that they detailed working in the Cardington sheds in Bedfordshire, and how there was a Cathedral set being developed in there, and obviously filming inside, and he says that they revealed the Batsuit around that time. Now, just to reiterate again, this was way back in February. He goes on to say how Robert looks great in it. However, they say that from filming in the set, says that the suit gets destroyed very, very early on, and he links his own theory into that, in how he thinks it could just be due to a villain, but he can't tell for sure. And I also do want to just kind of emphasize here, him also not having absolutely every detail kind of makes more sense with just how, you know, overall it kind of comes as a whole package. There's aspects of truth here with what happened in the trailer, but also it's not like this one guy's gonna know absolutely everything. But either way, he says it is Batman's prototype suit. Once it gets destroyed, he makes a new one. Now, he goes on to say as well that he hasn't seen it in action, but he's seen a few pictures of someone who's putting it together. He compares it to the Spider-Man shield suit from Spider-Man Far From Home. Now, hold your horses. I know at first, you know, like, why are you comparing it to an MCU Spidey suit? It's just literally in the aspects of the suit. With regards to the material, the more tactical kind of padded material with a lot less straps and a lot less details on the Batsuit compared to that Spidey suit. He goes on to say it's grey with full black gloves extending to his forearms and black boots. The symbol is no longer metal and lacking ears. It's more of a classic version of the symbol rather than the first suit in the film, which, hey, kind of makes sense with that new logo we got, which pertains to the metallic logo of what we see on the first Batsuit, but hey, it also has the ears, so this is kind of adding up even more. Now, he goes on to say, of course, that the cowl is made of a much higher quality material than that of the leather on the first cowl. The ears are medium to long length. I don't think that changes personally from what we see in the trailer, other than the material of the cowl, and that the mouth opening is much smaller. He also details that there is no longer a collar, and he thinks that it might have white eyes as well, and that the utility belt is more of a bronze golded faded color, and it's still more pouchy than that of the futuristic metal type from the Nolan films. Now, honestly, this is all the way back from February. This guy still knew about the scenes, even way back then, about the Cathedral, which was present in the trailer, and that what you're seeing on screen right now is what he was referring to. And lo and behold, in that scene where Batman tries to defuse the bomb himself, and as many of you pointed out, there seems to be a bomb disposal tech there as well on my breakdown video, he gets blasted back, as well as the guy who the bomb is strapped to, and he gets, blasted to smithereens, of whom I believe that is Peter Sarsgaard's character, by the way, Gil Colson, another political Riddler victim. Now, it's no surprise that Robert Pattinson's Batman would get a new Batsuit. Now, I'm not going to go on about this for absolutely ever, as there's so much other things I want to cover in this video, but the design of the new suit, let's assume it is true. Just based off first reactions of hearing about it, of course, we needed a better cowl. The cowl design is phenomenal, but we needed more harder materials because, for example, if this thug, what you're seeing on screen right now, literally hadn't shot him in the chest, and by the way, notice the little yellow kind of Easter egg of the bat symbol there. It is just like a lighting thing, but, you know, lots of people point that out, so I thought I'd check that in. Anyway, if he just aimed up, I'm pretty sure that leather-esque cowl would not have saved his life. So, do you know what I mean there? I think that's one point everyone had when they were criticizing the cowl, but oh my god, it still looks aesthetically amazing. So hearing that the cowl would improve in terms of a higher quality material is awesome. He thinks that it might have white eyes. That's more of a comment on in terms of he hasn't seen it in action, but he's seen a few pictures, so maybe from the pictures he observed, it looked as though that cowl maybe would incorporate the white eyes. The more Spider-Man-esque shield suit, it kind of does make sense. It would make sense for this suit to upgrade and maybe minimalize in areas with improved materials that doesn't necessarily require such a plated armor. I still love the plated look. I'm a bit upset in a way because I've said that I would love for him to forever carry what is theorized, you know, in terms of his symbol to be the gun split into two halves that killed his parents. You know, I really do feel like that engulfs the very kind of vengeance and reason as to why he became Batman. However, you know, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day because he would get more suits. That's the first suit he made, so it makes sense that he would put the gun there if it is the gun that murdered his parents. But, you know, as he transitions through more suits, may as well upgrade the symbol, right? And obviously it sounds like the symbol will look exactly like the one from the official logo and the trademark logo you're seeing on screen right now. Now, honestly, before as well, I'm not a huge fan of collars on Batman, but this is like the first time it looks freaking badass to me, in my opinion. And it's a shame to see that go, but either way, I have a lot of faith in this design. It sounds awesome as it is. It sounds like a natural progression for Batman, Robert Pattinson's and Matt Reeves' vision of Batman in the movie. And going back to the point of where it could be where his suit gets destroyed, especially lining up with this, you know, quote-unquote leak from the Reddit post back in February where he talks about the Cathedral. I mean, just look at the proximity Batman is to, let's assume, Gil Colson's character. It's more than likely he would get knocked out from it, as well as his suit getting damaged. Now, why am I saying knocked out? This is another theory of mine. I may not be true about this, but there is definitely some true aspects to it. For when he gets blasted back, this scene could very well lead to what I thought was initially Batman just trying to get out of a dogpiling scene at the GCPD, because literally another scene in a trailer, the reason why I said that in my breakdown is because he's quite literally getting fired at by multiple cops as he's grappling out of the precinct. However, since the trailer debuted, there's a lot more theory going into this and a lot more detail if you do look a lot closer. So let's just assume he does get knocked out from the trailer. Initially, Bruce is there, not suited up. He must come back sometime later, armor equipped as Batman, tries to save the guy's life. It seems as though there is a bomb disposal device that seemingly didn't work. Riddler is probably very aware of that device there, and he's on the phone most likely speaking to Batman, saying, if you even begin to use that device, I will just hit the detonate button right now, which is why maybe he has to solve a riddle there and then, but obviously it doesn't work out well because he gets blasted back. Now, that may very well be the thing that blows up his armor, but connecting it to the scene doesn't necessarily make sense in terms of the precinct scene because the armor seems fine there. Regardless, I've got some new things to say about that GCPD scene because it looks as though Bruce is handcuffed. Lots of people point out it looks as though he's trying to get to someone. It could be that, but I do want to stress as though it could just be him trying to get out of there, because this guy, let's assume he is bound behind his back, well, he is probably panicking. There's a whole bunch of GCPD officers in the room, and if you really do look close, I trust I'm showing on screen in mega slow-mo, Bruce's arms are behind his cape, under his cape, and not once, and I mean not once, in that whole scene are his arms ever like free from, you know, being restricted and restrained behind his back. Naturally, as a masked vigilante, that would freak you the heck out, but also notice how there's a stretcher in the background, or what seems to be some sort of medical stretcher where you would recover a body very quickly to put into an ambulance or something. He may have woken up on that. It kind of does make sense in just hearing it out loud, how it could be after initially getting blown the F back from that Cathedral scene and then being recovered maybe by Jim. But then you could argue, why wouldn't they just take the mask off there and then? But, you know, plot convenience, they were maybe saving to do it in the GCPD, but then Bruce regains consciousness. But the only flaw I find with this theory is that if the suit does get destroyed from the Cathedral scene, then hey, you know, it doesn't look too damaged in the scene that I'm showing on screen right now. But that doesn't mean that the armor itself, its stability, its durability, its robust elements to it may still be compromised. And when he gets to the Batcave anyway, even though it looks alright in this scene, he may just want to upgrade it because of the damage that is sustained that might not be visible to our naked eye during this part of the trailer. Just in terms of my concluding thoughts on the leak, you know, I never really read these out, as I said, but it does feel like there's a bit of legitimacy to this. It's not remotely surprising that Bruce would get another suit or improve the suit, just even within the first movie, and also just some of the knowledge he had way back in February does match up with present day information now, which is super interesting. The suit that we saw in the trailer obviously does come across as a bit of a prototype suit. Also, with the trailer, bearing in mind it only had 25 to 30% of the movie filmed, it just adds up even all the more with how this new suit would be filmed possibly later on. So of course, ladies and gentlemen and Bat family out there, I would love to know your thoughts on this. Very interesting stuff. Just not only in terms of the suit, but what you think of the Riddler detonation scene, my theories on that, and also the GCPD precinct scene, which is also linked to the very scene of where he's grappling out there. So that scene doesn't end well there. He also is in the GCPD later on, where he's getting fired at upon GCPD officers as he's getting his ass out of there. And that's a few details, but there's a whole bunch of other details that have since been cracked by people out there, such as the Riddler clue, comparisons of Riddler's character to Hush. What if Hush is the Riddler because of Batman Hush? I get what people are saying there, but, you know, I've got a few thoughts on that, and so many more things, like the Court of Owls element, so let's unpack this even further. So, lots of people are mentioning that Hush looked to Riddler. I do get it, I really do. Whether that's kind of the trench coat, or just how, you know, there's been iterations of this before, and how some people are comparing it to what Matt Reeves said in terms of how we haven't kind of seen this before, even though we kind of have, if you want to look at it that way. I really don't think that's going to be the case. I really think that Riddler, just like a lot of people are saying now, is more reminiscent of the Zodiac Killer, to be honest, which I do believe was the intention, truly. And that's just as Matt Reeves said, a new, mind-blowing iteration on the Riddler that hasn't been done before. His words, not mine. Don't forget as well, you know, the less theatrical approach, all the while, you know, the Riddler is being theatrical in this movie with his typical Riddler traits of literally sending in bombs and riddles and whatnot. He's still not ready to probably reveal himself very theatrically in the cliche sense of a Riddler cane, the question marks and all that kind of stuff, even though that is still incorporated, like on top of the car there's a question mark and several other aspects throughout the trailer. But I still like how they're going for more of a serial killer, murder mystery, Zodiac killer element and aspect to this character and iteration. And this is just even more reinforced with the Zodiac inspiration for the symbols on the clues that he has left. For example, you know, in that card, there is the riddle there. It's more than just a riddle where it requires codes to be cracked and in a very kind of symbolic Zodiac way. You people who know about the Zodiac Killer, you know what I mean. What about all of this Court of Owls stuff? The Court of Owls is being so capitalized upon with DC at the minute, whether that's from the games to this film, which a lot of people are linking to the grander conspiracy, which I'm definitely not shutting down. Now, there is an Easter egg. Lots of people pointed it out with the owl on the card. This is the very card that the Riddler made and addressed to the Batman that Jeffrey Wright's Jim Gordon was holding, and it said, "What does a liar do when he's dead?" Now, this could just be an Easter egg, or it could actually be even still an Easter egg, but a little tease for the larger plot that is going to be revealed maybe right at the end to set up a more bigger crime mystery detective whole path for Bruce in the second film, where he really dives deep into the Court of Owls. If they are going Court of Owls in this movie, and this is just the beginning teasers of it, I definitely don't think it'll be concluded by the end. It would definitely branch into the second film, but that's just my opinion, because I feel like that story is way too big. Just have the Riddler trying to expose the corruption, the history of corruption that is very, very much so entwined with the Court of Owls storyline. If you know about those guys, the kind of secret group that have governed Gotham from behind the scenes and corrupt in so many ways. Oh, it's such a great story. Read the New 52, Court of Owls and City of Owls. You'll know what I mean once you do read it. But getting back on track, it was a cool little teaser, whether it means something or not, or if this just whole corruption storyline in the film is just about corrupt politicians and mayoral candidates, and you know, it could still just be that on the surface. But what about the Riddler code? The riddle that was in the card, it's been cracked. So yet again, re-emphasizing that, what does a liar do when he's dead? It has been revealed that the code means he lies still. Now, meaning not as in he lies still as in dead still, it means that there's a lot more to this case, behind this man just being dead. It's like Riddler saying to Bruce or to Batman, look into this man, dude. His background, his corrupt, bent ways, a lot more. You're going to want to, even though he's dead, he lies still. As in, he's still lying, and the case and the mystery that you're looking at right now isn't just a simple murder investigation. There is a lot more that you need to strip back about this guy's background, because he's still lying in terms of everything he represented and stood for well beyond his death, and that is just a Riddler really trying to get Batman to wake up to the grander conspiracy and corrupt bent ways at work within Gotham City. And one thing I totally forgot to mention along the Court of Owls line of thinking as well is that Riddler may be trying to expose to Bruce that his parents, and I did mention this in my breakdown, I spoke about how Bruce's parents could maybe be attributed to the corruption of Gotham, and maybe you can go as far as one of the members of the Court of Owls. I don't want to invest truly in that, but 100% I have a lot of faith in the whole Waynes aren't as pure as Robert Pattinson's Bruce likely put them on a pedestal up to be, if that makes sense. And this all ties to the end of the trailer with Bruce and that whole kind of narration going on there saying, you know, how do I connect to this? And it's like, you know, you'll find out or whatever. And lots of people are saying that that's Batman, that is Robert Pattinson's Bruce, reminiscing or kind of just thinking in the cave to his shadow side self, leading into the whole Darwin Cook, you know, Batman ego comic connection that Matt Reeves revealed, which, you know, if you look into that comic, it really does explore the mentality and psychology of Bruce Wayne. And trust me, I love that idea. I'm not even saying that a noir detective commentary of Bruce Wayne himself won't be present in the film, but I do feel like this narration is still cut from a scene, for example, where Bruce Wayne's Batman is in the Cathedral. He's speaking to Riddler on the phone, who obviously has full power and control of that moment, just given off the fact that he can detonate that bomb at any moment. But I think he may say to Batman in that moment across the phone that you're connected to this. And he's like, well, how am I connected to this? And that is how that line was incorporated at the end of the trailer when he has his cowl off in the Batcave. If you ask me, that is Paul Dano's voice. It's way too consistent with Paul Dano's Riddler voice that we heard earlier on in the trailer, where it seems that there's kind of this voice modulator-esque mode on it, which would make more sense as well, just how that could be going through a phone line. So, you know, I don't mean to shoot down those theories in a bad way of the whole shadow side self narration. I really hope that still does happen, but I think that end scene narration is Riddler exchanging words with the Batman at some point in the movie, maybe even the first time they actually have a conversation in front of that victim, Gil Colson, possibly played by Peter Sarsgaard, and yeah, they're just talking about it, and he's teasing Batman that there is more to this and that he is actually connected to it. Also, the current commissioner, Pete Savage, I think he's corrupt. Maybe he would die. I could be wrong. I think Jim is captain. He's definitely not detective level. I could be wrong about that as well. I don't know why I said definitely, but just more theories to chuck on the end of this video. Pete Savage could die, one of the Riddler's victims. That could explain the whole corrupt GCPD and how so many corrupt GCPD officers get away with it. And obviously Jim Gordon's one of the good ones. He made it to the rank of captain, but if he dies in the film, then maybe Captain Gordon could be the next one up for commissioner, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean there? I think you do. But anyway, I don't want to drag this video out any longer. There were so many details in it, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. But more importantly, I really want to see your comments on everything I had to say down, of course, in the comments section, because there's a lot to speculate about, even outside the whole suit leaks. I want to know your thoughts on the extended kind of breakdown I just did on the trailer. Other than that, Bat Family, I would really appreciate a like on this video, maybe even subscribe if you want to stay up to date with all things the Batman, and I mean every little detail, because I am covering this film until there is nothing left to cover. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you, Bat Family, in the next video. Goodbye.